Through the first 13 games of the season, the Chiefs forced a total of 10 turnovers, a strikingly low total for a team as successful as they have been. It's really quite impressive that they've picked up this record. They've picked up 12 wins out of their first 13 games, having only forced 10 turnovers. Well, the turnovers came with abundance in this game against the Browns. In this game alone, they forced 6 turnovers. So let's take a look at their turnovers and see what the Chiefs were doing to be so prolific in this realm. We will start with 13:46 to go in the first quarter. The Chiefs started with the ball and went 3 and out, and here they are going to punt it to the Browns. So Matt Ariza punted it, and it was fielded at about the 25-yard line, at which point the returner fumbled on a hit by Chris Rowland-Wallace, and the Chiefs recovered. So a couple things to note about this play. First of all, the hang time by Matt Ariza. So he got so much hang time that look how close the Chiefs coverage team is at this point when he fields a punt. I mean, they're right there ready to make a play, which is step 1. Step 2, it really looks like they are trying to funnel this return over in this direction. If you notice the way that from the outside, it's almost like a pass rush. You know, he's coming outside, he's coming more inside, and it looks like the ultimate flow is expecting the returner to try to go in this direction, which is what they ended up getting. And they were prepared for this, and look at Chris Rowland-Wallace come up behind. Did a good job of wrapping around and getting the ball as he was making the tackle. There was a scrum for the ball, and it's Samaje Perine who actually came out of the pile with the ball. It's kind of tough to tell from this view, but it looks like the ball was kind of bouncing around, and he managed to get in there and get the ball. Let's check this punt again from Ariza. So he angles it toward the Chiefs' left. And if you look at Rowland-Wallace coming in this direction. Again, look at the flow. They seem to be trying to pin the returner and force a return in this direction. And you can see Najee Johnson is kind of coming along this line. Again, trying to force things in that direction. They do a good job maintaining contain, though, as when the punt is caught, not like losing their discipline and letting, too much go back over this way. And then look at Rowland-Wallace get around, wrap around. The ball is out. And Perine is the one right here. He's the one that ultimately came out with the ball. He ended up going down as it was jostling and managed to get the ball. So here's a little better view from the broadcast of Rowland-Wallace. Look at him wrap around right there, get his hand right on the ball, and pop it out. Great play from him. See it one more time. Look right over here. As he, with his right arm, he manages to come around and pop that ball out. As the ball is down, you can see it's still like alive in there. And Perine managed to get in there and get that ball. Here's one last view. Look at that. Pop that ball out. It's a great start for the Chiefs. With the offense not really being able to do much. Actually, you can see the ball right here. And this is Perine as he goes down trying to get control of it. The offense wasn't able to do much at the beginning, but they were given a great field by special teams. Great way to start the game after the 3 and. Our next play comes from 1:44 to go in the first quarter. The Browns have a little drive going. They have 1st and 10 at the Chiefs' 36, and they're only down 7-0 at this point. And the Chiefs' offense, honestly, has not looked too great. So the Browns are very much in this game. Let's see how this play goes, and then we can break it down. Here, Winston is under center with one back, motions Elijah Moore in. They run play action, and he throws a post that's intercepted by the backside safety, Brian Cook. So to start, it looks like the Browns are here in 11 personnel. Got one running back. This looks like a tight end. Everyone here looks like a wide receiver. Again, I'm not overly familiar with the Browns personnel, so apologies if I made any mistakes. Like we said, they motion Elijah Moore in. He's definitely a wide receiver. And interesting to note at the snaps, look at the Chiefs here. The Chiefs are in their nickel personnel. They've got 5 defensive backs. 3, 4, 5. Now, the way that they have it set up right now, it kind of looks like this is a too high set, right? With Cook and Reed as the deep safeties. Then as Moore comes in, Reed at that same time is coming down as well, and Cook starts rotating. So it's starting to look actually like a cover 1. But as they snap it, and this is one thing that Winston doesn't see because he's going to take a play action and look back, turn his back on the defense. But this looks like cover 1 right at the snap as Cook rotates over to the middle. But as Winston snaps this ball, that rotation continues. So as the ball's about to be snapped, Cook rotates over to the middle, but as Winston turns his back to the defense, that rotation continues, and Connor actually drops out to be a deep half, and Cook rotates over, so this ends up being a cover 2. It's just not the cover 2 that it looked like it could be here with Reed and Cook, but unfortunately it looks like for Jameis, when he snaps this ball, this looked like it was more cover 1 when he snapped it. Then by the time he's turned around, it is too deep. And you wonder, I'm not really sure, honestly, what Jameis Winston was thinking. Like, his route combination here is he's got a go route over here, and he's got a post here, which is a great combination to put this safety in conflict, right? Over here, he's got a curl. So unless the safety on this side like drives hard down on the curl, you've got to be wary of this safety here on the post route. It almost looks like Winston gets so caught up on seeing if the post crosses the face of this safety that he completely forgets about the existence of this safety, Brian Cook, and he just throws that post. I mean, this ball should never be thrown. He throws that post, and Cook is right there reading his eyes, able to just come right over and undercut this. Like, this never should have been thrown. And I don't know. I mean, the one thing I can say is with the safety occupying this post, you might have a better shot throwing the go route over here. You've got one-on-one over there. But the post, you have a safety rotating underneath, and I mean, this was just too easy. So I don't know. That's why I brought up the rotation at the beginning. Like, did he get confused seeing the one safety when he snapped the ball that maybe he got fixated on Connor over here and just thought he was the only guy and just lost track entirely of Cook? I don't know. But it makes no sense to throw this ball against a cover 2, and what you see happen is exactly what would happen. You get intercepted. Let's see if we can get some insight by looking at Winston's eyes here. Yeah, look at how he's just so focused on that side. Like, I feel like he doesn't ever take into account the position of the backside safety. He's just looking right over on the front side and throws it. I mean, that is pretty bad, I would say, for the NFL level. But the Chiefs get a big pick there, and that's already their second turnover of the game, and still in the first quarter. Now we move ahead to 14:53 to go in the third quarter. This is the beginning of the third quarter, right after the kickoff. The Browns are coming out with the ball. They're down 14-0 at this point. And they come out in a heavy set here. They've got 21 personnel, so they've got 2 running backs and 1 tight end. And the Chiefs match that with their base. So we've got the big boy Mike Pennell in here, Mike Dana, who runs stuffing defensive end. I mean, he's used as a pass rusher too, but he's always there on rundowns. And they've got their 3 linebackers in Tranquil, Bolton, and Chanel with only 4 defensive backs. So the Chiefs are going to run a fairly standard cover 2. So they're going to have Reed and Cook play the deep halves. Then they're going to have Williams and McDuffie with cloud coverage, and then their 3 linebackers here underneath. The Browns, well, actually, let's run the play, and you can see what it looks like, then we'll break it down. So they run play action here, and Winston tries to dump it off to Chubb, but the ball ricochets, and ultimately Nick Bolton comes up with it for the interception. So what the Browns do here, they motion over. And so against this cover 2, what they're going to have a clear out route over here, a go route. Then they're going to have the tight end over here running over. Jerry Jeudy is going to come and run a dig. And Nick Chubb just releases underneath. And so if you see the combination of these, Winston drops back, and he gets a little pressure on the edge. This is a good job by both Dana and Karlaftis of at least providing a little bit of pressure and making him speeding up his clock a little bit. 'Cause, I mean, the Browns did a good job of kind of moving the edge rushers around the arc. So Winston had room to step up. He could have even taken off if he wanted to. But he had Chubb there for the dump off, so he wanted him. The unfortunate thing for him, if he had hung just a second later, Jeudy comes wide open in this intermediate area. But by this point, he had made up his mind to throw this to Chubb. Bolton really does a good job here. If you see him on his underneath responsibility of passing it off quickly and going over to Chubb once he notices the ball coming there. Winston, and we'll see this better on the end zone view, he throws this a little bit off target. So Chubb has to go outside the frame of his body to try to make a catch. And I'm not the biggest fan of Charles Davis as an announcer, but I thought he made a good point here, which was that, running backs, you kind of have to hit them in the numbers. If you're asking your running back to make catches outside the frame of his body, it's a little bit more dangerous. And Bolton does a great job here with his left hand. He kind of controls this ball enough to bring it back toward Chubb's body. And then once it's pinned against Chubb's body, Bolton is able to win the fight for the ball and get control without the ball hitting the ground. I just wanted to revisit Jeudy coming open here because this, is for a couple reasons here. One is that you've got the 3 linebackers. Chanel's going over to the flat to help out over here, which leaves Bolton and Tranquil in the middle. Tranquil is feeling that deep route initially in coverage right here, but then as it comes over, you would need somebody else to kind of drop into that area. It's possible that Bolton would have tried to start to do that, but he noticed the throw going to Chubb, unclear. But then the other part of this is, and this is a problem that's going to continue to be there for the Chiefs, I think, all year, unfortunately, is that Joshua Williams, for as good of a man corner as he is, and I think he is a good man corner, when he's in zone, he tends to run with people a little bit too long. Your responsibility here in the cover 2 is to be responsible for the cloud area. He doesn't have to cover the flats because clearly Chanel has taken that from him. But he's here for the intermediate sideline area. Once the receiver runs a go and gets out here, that becomes Brian Cook's responsibility in his deep half. And so really, Williams should be falling off right here and in this area as Judy is coming across into it. There shouldn't be this giant void out there that Judy can run into. It's true, I mean, the way that Judy could handle that is just to stop here. And, he's there, and Reed notices this and starts driving on Judy late. But you'd really like to see Joshua Williams have that feel and zone that, okay, this guy's running through my zone. I don't need to carry him any further. And that's something time and again he has not shown the ability to do. And I think it does limit the Chiefs' ability to play zone in general. All right, so we can see the play from Winston's point of view here from the end zone camera. Play action. He hits the back of his drop, and he sees Chubb come out and decides to throw it because Bolton at this point is occupied on the tight end. He throws this a little bit off target. You can see it. Chubb's having to go out and reach for it, and he tips it. And look at Bolton. He was able to control it back to Chubb's body and ultimately pull it in for a great interception. That's an amazing individual effort. And that's 3 turnovers there from the Chiefs. These are the kinds of plays that just weren't going their way early in the year. If you watch these film reviews, you've heard me complain about the number of tip balls that don't seem to go to a Chief for whatever reason. And this one did. For once, there was a tip ball, and, I mean, honestly, it didn't go to Bolton. Bolton really had to reach out and corral it. Like, this was great ball skills from Bolton, much better than I think one would expect him to have. But it was nice to see, the bounce of the ball go the Chiefs' defense way, because I feel like they've batted a lot of balls, especially at the line of scrimmage, and nothing seems to fall to a defender. It happened this time, though. Now 3 turnovers so far in the game. So we're now at 12:52 to go in the third quarter. The Chiefs are up 21-0, and the Browns are starting their subsequent drive. So they've got a first down right around their 33-yard line. And they end up running the following play. Let's run it, and then we can break down what happened. So here, Winston takes the snap, and they run a stretch play to the left. Chubb has a pretty good hole, but Chanel comes in and pops the ball out, and the Chiefs recover. It's Drew Tranquil that actually came out with the ball. So let's break down what happened here. So the Browns come in heavier personnel and try to run the ball. So they've got 2 tight ends in the game. This is 12 personnel, 1 running back and 2 tight ends. The Chiefs are in their base. They only have 4 defensive backs. They've got all 3 linebackers in the game. So they had actually been doing a pretty good job stopping the run in this game, and this is one of those situations where Chris Jones is given a lot of freedom in this team. I think even as a pass rusher, he can pick his assignments at times, and sometimes will get out of the lanes that he's supposed to be in. And sometimes that happens in the run game too, although it does feel like that's been less the case this year than usual. This is one of those times, though, where, here the line, what they're trying to do is they're all down blocking, and then they're bringing the tight end to insert to seal on the end. So if you watch what all the way to the tackle, see everyone's down blocking, and Chris Jones, instead of kind of flowing and trying to cut off, he tries to swipe and come around. So he tries to push the tackle on his way and come around, but runs into the inserting tight end who was intended to go get Dana. And what happens then is where Chris Jones was supposed to be is a giant hole. And so Nick Chubb runs right through it and appears to be on his way to a good gain until Leo Chanel catches him. Again, credit where credit's due. Like, when the people that talk about Nick Bolton, why was Chubb not just chugging along here? Well, Bolton took the lineman, the lead blocking lineman, out in space and pushed him back into Chubb's path. So Chubb has to slow down, and it gives Chanel a chance to recollect and punch this ball out. So credit to Bolton here on this play, and Chanel does a great job punching that out. Ball's out, and you can see Tranquil is the guy that ultimately comes up with it. He kind of gets down there and gets on the ball, comes out of the pile with it. But you can see what they're trying to do even better here. So they're down blocking all the way across, leaving Dana, and their tight end from this side is going to come in and try to insert and block Dana here. But watch what Chris Jones does. Instead of flowing to fill his gap, he just swipes right there and tries to get around him and get a direct path to the running back. All well and good, except the tight end's coming to insert. So he gets in the way, and Chubb, look at the hole that Chubb has. Like, Chubb has this giant hole to run through. And the second part of this is look at Bolton. The guard's coming out to the next level to get Bolton. Bolton does a good job of getting the guard back into Chubb's path, slowing him down, and that gives Chanel a chance to backtrack and ready himself and punch that ball out. There you can see the ball go out right there, and it's still bouncing around when Tranquil dives in there, and he ends up recovering it. Big recovery for the Chiefs, and they get turnover number 4 on the day. We now move to 13-19 to go in the fourth quarter. The score at this point is 21-7 Chiefs, and the Browns have the ball at the Chiefs' 29-yard line with a 1st and 10. So a huge chance here for the Browns to really get back into this game, a game that the Chiefs have been controlling mainly because they have 4 turnovers to this point. So let's run the play that the Browns run here, and then we'll break it down. Got the tight end in motion. Winston drops back, feels pressure, and escapes to his right. He throws it to the end zone where it's intercepted by Trent McDuffie, the first interception of his career. So let's break down what happened. On this play here, the Browns come out and they are in 11 personnel. Their running back is over here. Tight end is here. And so the Browns end up running 3 verticals, right? So they're basically you go, you go, you go. And they're having Moore come here and just run a little hitch route. They bring the tight end in motion, and the tight end is actually there to block Karlaftis. They end up sliding all of the line to the left. So the line leaves Karlaftis unblocked, and it's the tight end that's supposed to insert and make that block. The Chiefs are playing cover 1. So they've got the deep safety, and then their underneath defender is Nick Bolton. And Justin Reed is supposed to guard the tight end. So everybody else is manned up, right? Manned up, manned up, manned up, manned up. Justin Reed's responsibility is the tight end, but when he sees the tight end inserting and blocking Karlaftis, he wheels around and helps Drew Tranquil, essentially doubling Jerry Jeudy. Because otherwise, what was happening was Tranquil was having to carry Jerry Jeudy vertically, which could have been a real problem. So this adjustment from Reed probably saved a touchdown. The problem with the way that the Browns ran this is the tight end, when inserting, is not able to get over fast enough to stop Karlaftis. Karlaftis just gets right around him. And he provides instant pressure on Jameis, who has to scramble. As Winston scrambled, Bolton comes up here to try to deter the scramble, and Winston misses that he's got more running free right here. This would have been a throw to make. It would have been across his body, but that was definitely a possible throw there, and Moore was open. But instead, Winston liked his chance throwing it into the end zone with the defender's back turned, which generally isn't that problematic of a decision, honestly. Oftentimes when defenders are playing the man, at least you're not worried about it being intercepted. The problem being that, according to Trent McDuffie, he looked at the Jumbotron that was in the back of the end zone. It must have been somewhere around here. He said he saw on the Jumbotron that Winston was throwing it to his side. So he got his head turned and managed to intercept it right there. What an awesome first interception of your career. So let's see it down here from this perspective. Again, the tight end is inserting, and he just really needs to hustle. Like, get over there. If your job is to block Karlaftis, like, go, go, go. He does not get there nearly. I mean, I wonder why he's, like, sliding his feet right here. Like, what are you waiting on? You have to go all the way over to get the end. He just took too long. Like, you should just be going all out. You got to go block that guy. And Karlaftis gets a good jump, gets around him, forces Winston out. Winston's looking downfield the whole way, but to me, this is the throw. I mean, it's not an easy throw, but this is the throw. Again, going downfield with the defender's back turn isn't a terrible decision, but McDuffie got his head around, did a great job getting feet down, got an interception. First of his career. Big play for Trent. And now we move ahead to 1:26 to go in the game. The Chiefs are still up 21-7, and the Browns have the ball at their own 45-yard line with a 3rd and 1. The Browns now have Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. He took over for Jameis Winston after Jameis's 3rd interception. He's been in the game since then, and he's trying to navigate moving the ball down the field, hopefully at least get this within one score. So let's watch the play, and then we'll kind of break it down. So he takes a shotgun snap at the back of his drop, tries to throw a seam route that's intercepted by Jaden Hicks, who Hicks does a great job kind of navigating traffic and trying to get as much as he can on the return, but ultimately only able to get down to about the 16-yard line. You know he wanted to take that to the house. So let's break this play down. The Browns are coming out here in 11 personnel. They've got one running back and they've got one tight end. And the Chiefs appear to be in their dime. I see Nick Bolton, and I think he's the only linebacker on the field. It looks like we've got 6 defensive backs. So the Browns are essentially going to run 4 verticals. They're sending everybody straight up the field on vertical routes. And the Chiefs are playing quarters coverage. So each person has a 1/4 of the field deep as their responsibility. So as Thompson-Robinson gets back to throw, if you notice in this quarters coverage, the Chiefs underneath defenders are playing very deep, kind of squeezing off any windows in front of their deep defenders and kind of essentially giving up the flats. You know, this is a run the clock out kind of defense that willing to give you something underneath, you can get yards, but we're not giving up something deep. So as Thompson-Robinson is ready to throw this ball, Justin Reed does a good job of making it a pretty tight window. You know, Reed's right underneath this route, and so you have to really throw a perfect ball to get it in there, and Thompson-Robinson isn't able to. His ball's just a tad high, which it kind of had to be because if it were any lower, Justin Reed would have gotten a hand on it. So he tried to get it up over Reed, but his receiver isn't far enough back to throw it up and down, and so the ball sails right to Jaden Hicks, waiting for the interception. And honestly, this is a lot of playing deep safety. You know, obviously you gotta, occasionally stay with burners that are coming down the field, but a lot of it is staying over the top of things and just being at the right place. Those of you that watched the Chiefs in the early to mid 2000s will remember Greg Wesley. I feel like this was like what every Greg Wesley interception looked like. Just staying over the top of everything, wait for the overthrow, get a pick. And he had quite a successful Chiefs career doing that, and Jaden Hicks did it really well right there. You can see it here again from the end zone view. Thompson Robinson looking for that seam route, and look at the coverage that Reed has underneath. I mean, he's so tight to the tight end that this throw had to be high, and it was too high right to Hicks. And then a great run back for Hicks. I think he might, if he gets his hands on some turnovers during his career with the Chiefs, he might make for some exciting plays. But it was nice to see this explosion of turnovers from the Chiefs. I think more than anything, looking at it, it seems like the ball just bounced the Chiefs' way a little bit. I think though they've had a couple moments, especially in the last few weeks, where they've appeared less disciplined on defense, especially giving up a lot to inside receivers running out routes, it does seem like this defensive performance reminded me a lot of the first half of the year before Jalen Watson got hurt, when the defense was pretty stout. The difference being that a lot of things didn't bounce the defense's way during the course of the season, and a lot of things bounced the defense's way this game. So I don't expect this defense to go forward forcing 6 turnovers or even 4 turnovers a game, but I do think that there will be a little bit of a regression. This defense can force 1 to 2 turnovers. When they play like this, solid, disciplined, and we have some other videos from this game that kind of explain the details of what they were doing here. So other segments. If they play like this, the ball will bounce their way occasionally, and it bounced their way a lot in this one, and I expect it to do it a little bit so going forward.